Welcome to my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5, except literally everything goes awry. Now, let me be clear, I am not one of those moms that wakes up at 5 a.m. every day. This is just the time that my sweet baby boy wakes up. And so this is the time that we start our day. Things are starting out nice and cute with the typical mild chaos of diaper changes, but I promise they start to go sideways real quick. This is attempt number 1 to put the baby in the pack and play. And yes, that's subtle foreshadowing. Not gonna lie, I do struggle a little bit with this part of my routine just because I need both of my hands to wash my face and do my skincare routine. You'll hear me say that to my said sweet little boy, but I obviously hate to hear him cry, but I think this is one of those things that I try to remind myself that I need to exercise. The whole mom self-care is important too, and he's safe and clearly fine in that pack and play. So while it is a little bit uncomfortable, we're just gonna keep moving forward. Mommy just has to do this with 2 hands. She has 2 hands. While I'm doing my makeup here in general peace and quiet, I want to just take a second in this video to talk about my current work situation and why I started this channel. The morning you're watching was actually one of my last as a full-time employee, and at the time of this voiceover, I'm officially a stay-at-home mom, or as I like to call it, a domestic engineer. Now, I haven't stepped away from my job as a biomedical engineer completely, taking off the month of July, and then we'll start a contract position working part-time with the same med device startup that I've been at for the past 2 years. It's really an ideal scenario for us, and so far has been the best decision of my life. Something I really pride myself in is that I've never shied away from making the change if I don't like something about where I'm at. And this isn't to downplay the process. This has been the hardest decision. You know, I really worked hard for this degree and I'm proud of the field I'm in and I genuinely love my job. I feel like I'm in a good place in my career and it wasn't a decision I took lightly. We even did a month of daycare and it was honestly great. I could totally see a world in which that would have worked for us. The baby was thriving. I was feeling almost back to full capacity at work other than maybe having to pump. It was exhausting, don't get me wrong, but doable. But like I said, this is where we landed, and although it hasn't even been a month yet, I can tell it was the right decision for us. And so was births engineered at home. So if you're maybe looking for a sign to make the leap, let this be it. And although this might sound counterintuitive to what I just said, what I've learned through this process is that my family could have thrived both ways, and that this isn't a right or wrong decision type of a thing. It might not even be about finding the, quote, more right decision, because I'm not sure that even exists. It's more about what feels right for you and your family and trusting your gut. And of course, the coffee that I'm finally having an hour into my day is where things start to go haywire because it just didn't come out. And then immediately after that, I realized that I left food out from the night before. So then we decided to go on our daily walk. And I did figure out my coffee, don't worry, but the walk didn't last very long because it started raining. Now, clearly this kid did not want to be put down today, so we are baby wearing. I also want to acknowledge that it's a privilege to have this choice in the first place and that a lot of families don't even have this as an option. That's not to say it hasn't come with its sacrifices though, and I'm grateful to my husband for not pressuring me one way or another. He's taking on a real impact financially, and that's not something I take for granted. At this point in the morning, I was feeling pretty good about myself because even though he was being a Velcro baby, I still was getting out of the house earlier than I normally do, which was immediately foiled because my husband forgot to switch the car seats. Not pictured is me waiting for him to come home from work. I have about a 40-minute commute to work, and honestly, it kind of bookends my day nicely, and I've learned to love it. But at the same time, I can't say I'm gonna miss it. I think this is one of those clear examples where clearly not everybody lives the same day. I know even my mornings look a lot different these days, and I'm grateful for that. I'm not sitting here claiming to know everything or have it all figured out, but I can say that I think we're in the right place right now. So, on to the next chapter, engineered at home. Thanks for being here, and see you next week.